Hi, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in this video you will learn how you can figure out on your own what you can use after the Ordinary Salicylic Acid mask. And as you can see, I'm currently also on the official Ordinary website, which I also can link in the description box down below, so that you just need to click on it and then also follow the steps that I'm about to share with you. Now, as you can see, you have also different guides right here on the top, and depending also on the question and the concern that you may have, you also may want to go with that specific guide. So since we now want to know more about what you can use after the Ordinary Salicylic Acid mask, the guide that we also need to click on is the Regimen Guides. And as it already tells you, it is going to guide you through your regimen so that you know how you can use the specific products that you may have at home, so that you also know how you can set up your skincare routine. And if you're going to scroll down a bit, it also will give you a brief introduction about the Ordinary products and how you can use them, which are important if you want to know more about the different formulations and how you can properly layer them to set up your skincare routine. So the Ordinary is also well known for their different formulations, and therefore you can also, for example, combine the multiple formulations from the Ordinary products in a single regimen. That's totally fine. What's important is that you also need to know how you can properly layer them. And so in general terms, they also recommend that you're going to start off with any water formulations, that those should be applied before any oil formulations. And that they also recommend using a maximum of 3 serums formulations in a single regimen, which basically means use no more than 3 of those little bottles from the Ordinary in one routine. And so once you know the main information, like the general rule of thumb, starting off with any water-based serums, then moving on to any anhydrous solutions, oil formulations, and then creams and suspensions, this can help you to set up your skincare routine. Then if you're going to scroll down a bit further, you also will see some little icons, and those little icons will also be listed on the top of the specific product that you're also going to look for. So you have a sun, which means use in the morning, you have a moon, which means use in the evening. You also have an eye that tells you for the eyes. You also have an eye that is also has a line through it, which means avoid any contact with eyes. And you also have a sign that tells you that you also need sun protection, since the product may also make your skin sensitive to the sun, so therefore it's also important. Now if you're going to scroll down any further, you will see the different categories. And depending on what product you're looking for, you need to click on that specific category to find out more. So since we want to know more about the salicylic acid mask and what you can use after, you can also click on the direct acids, since the salicylic acid mask is listed under direct acids. And if you are going to scroll down until you also will find the salicylic acid mask, it also will tell you the main information, what it basically also does for the skin, and also how you can kind of briefly use it so that you have a general understanding of how it works. And you can see also on the top the little icons like the sun, you have the moon, you have the eye with the line across, which means that you should also avoid any contact with eyes, as well as that you have to protect your skin and when also being exposed to the sun, so that you're also not getting sunburned, since it also can make your skin sensitive to the sun. Then if you're going to look further, it also tells you what it targets, lackluster tone and textural irregularities. So if those are your concerns, you may also want to consider getting the mask in case you also want to know more about what it specifically also does for the skin. Also what format it is, so it's like a paste-like texture, what regimen step you're going to use it, and it tells you that you should use it as a mask and then rinse it off, which is also really specific to also know, and is also important to know, since the Ordinary has products which you're going to leave on the skin which does not need to be rinsed off, and they also have 2 masks which have to be rinsed off. The salicylic acid mask is one of them. Then it also will tell you the conflicts, which basically means with what you should not use it in the same routine. And it tells you other strong acids, EUK134 or peptides. And I'm going to get into the conflicts in just a moment, and then it also tells you the time of use. Use once to twice per week, ideally in the evening. So those are the main information that you can also find under the Regimen Guides if you want to know more about how you can specifically also use the mask. This is like a brief overview. Now, what we are also interested in knowing is also understanding the conflicts. Since we know that if we are going to use the mask, you're going to cleanse your face, use the mask, rinse it off after 10 minutes, but then you want to know what you can use after the mask. So therefore, knowing the conflicts when using the mask is important. And it basically tells you strong acids, EUK, and peptides. So EUK, if you're going to scroll up, is basically another category of antioxidants. And then here you can also see that it also will tell you with their conflicts, do not use with highly acidic treatments, pure vitamin C or buffet copper peptides. Those are the conflicts of EUK. But still it tells you that you should not use it with any acidic treatments. And a salicylic acid mask is also an acid. Therefore, those should not be used in the same routine. This is how you can already figure out what you can and cannot use. Then it also will tell you that it has conflicts with peptides. So go ahead and please also be aware that if you have one of the peptides maybe at home, do not use them in the same routine, which can be buffet copper peptides, arginine solution, matrixyl. So if you're aware of those concerns and also basically conflicts in general, then you know already or have a brief understanding what you can and cannot use after the mask. Now there's one more important thing, and this is also other strong acids. Now what does that mean? Well, first of all, other strong acids means basically also not using any of the other products that are listed under the direct acids except for one, which is also azelaic acid, which I'm going to break down in just a moment. Now, what do they really include also under strong acids? Well, they're not really specific about what strong acids are on the Ordinary website. However, I looked up a few articles online for what they would also consider what's a strong acid. And they weren't really clear about it, like they had different opinions, but generally speaking, you can also, what I've also could with through those articles is that it tells you do not use like a strong acid is basically something that's below a pH of 4. So if you have a product that's below a pH of 4, this would be considered a strong acid, generally speaking, so that you have an idea of what this could mean. So if it's above 4, then you can also use it in the same routine, which also now makes a lot of sense with the direct acids category from the Ordinary. For example, they have the salicylic acid solution. This is a direct acid, which also could be considered as a strong acid. This one is currently not available, but I just want to give you an idea since it has a pH of 3.2 to 4. So it can be below 4, so therefore it would be considered as a strong acid. However, there is one of the direct acids from the category of the direct acids which is not a strong acid. The peeling solution would be a strong acid, as azelaic acid suspension would not be a strong acid. Why? Because if you're going to click on it, it also will tell you the pH, and the pH is between 4 to 5. So therefore, this would be, for example, not a strong acid, but all the other one in the category of direct acid would be a stronger acid. So I'm going to list them again. This would be the peeling solution is a strong acid. Azelaic acid is not a strong acid. The glycolic acid 7% toning solution is a strong acid. Lactic acid is a strong acid. Lactic acid 10% is a strong acid. Mandelic acid is a strong acid. And then you have the Masque as well as the salicylic acid solution is a strong acid. So this can give you a brief idea of what you can and not use when using the salicylic acid mask, which means you're fine to use any of the other Ordinary products which I have not listed, which are not mentioned in the conflict section right here. So therefore, what you're going to use after the Ordinary mask depends also on your skin concern, but those can be any oils, those can be any other water-based serums, as long as it's not, for example, peptides or any like the EUK, which is an antioxidant. But yes, you could, for example, any of the other antioxidants, because they are not listed right here, and they do not generally speak about antioxidants in general. Whereas with the peptides, they say specifically do not use it with the peptides, which means all of the peptides. They are not specifically using one of the names of their peptides. So this is something on how you can also break it down as well. that if you're going to click on the salicylic acid mask, it also will give you more information also on how you can use it, what it also does for the skin, and also, for example, that you can use it on the surface if you have oily, blemish-prone skin, and it can be drying depending also on if you may have already a little bit more towards a normal combination to drier skin type. It can be even more like drying on the skin. However, if you have, for example, an oily, blemish-prone skin, you may be happy to see your skin once also matte and radiant looking and not oily like. So therefore you have to also read through the main site as well to understand more about the mask specifically, and then it also will give you the directions again, which are definitely more specific on not only how you can apply it, but also what you have to be aware of, and that your mask also should not be used on sensitive, peeling or compromised skin, and also that you should avoid the eye contour, any contact with eyes, also when applying it and also when rinsing it off. So here you will find more information about how you can use it. However, if you want to know more about the application of the salicylic acid mask, I've done a specific video about it where I'm also applying it on my face and go through the different steps on how you can also properly wash your face and apply the mask and then move on to the rest of the routine. So if you want to see me applying it and also how I'm using the mask, I'm going to link the video at the end of this video since it's still also a bit related. And that you also know how you can also use it in a routine if you have already more than one product at home and you just want to introduce the salicylic acid mask to your routine as well. But I also do hope that now with how I've broke it down, how you can understand what you can and cannot use in the same routine when using the salicylic acid mask, you are now able to also have a look at the products that you have at home and then based on that set up your skincare routine. So that this can also help you to understand, to also give you the best experience possible so that you also won't conflict with any of the other products, especially also when using more than one ordinary product. Now this is also what I wanted to share with you. This is also what you can also use or how you can figure out on your own what you can use after the salicylic acid mask and what you have to be aware of because of the conflicts. And also if you like this video, please also don't forget to give the thumbs up as well as share this video if you like to. If you have any other questions, leave a comment below. And don't forget, you also will see the application of the mask at the end of this video if you also want to know more about it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it and I will see you soon in the next one and happy skin caring. Bye!